I wanted to add, we didn't really talk about education, so no, we didn't really talk about practice. We talk quite a lot about education, but I think I wanted to add a little bit more about practice. So if I do like martial arts or even practice piano, or maybe like every week want to play tennis, or yes, that's kind of for me is a practice. Sometimes people, well, not so much as here, but I think some people might think like, why do you do this? What's the point of doing this? Here, maybe talking about martial arts, they might think, well, why are you doing it? And it's not the practical. Practical is kind of connected to practice. もうちょっと教育以外のプラクティスについてちょっと喋りたいなと思いまして、特に日本とかだとね、例えば武道やってるとか、テニスやってますとか、ピアノを練習してますとか、大人がやってることに対して、なんでやってんのって、それは何のためになるのっていうことをよく聞かれたりするときがある。聞かれやすいと思うんですよね。で、イギリスだと特に、合気道やってるとか、だと、なんでやってんのっていうふうに、何の意味があってやってるのかって聞かれることが多いですね。And especially like not practical thing. For example, even martial arts, there's so many different martial arts, right? And sometimes people make fun of Aikido. And we do Kenjutsu, which is a sword fighting technique. And then people question straight away, what's the point to bring the sword and do in practice? What is the point? Because you don't use a sword, you cannot bring the sword. We know in medieval time. その中世でもないのになんで剣を使ってこう戦ったりするのか、何の意味があるのかとか、言われます。合気道でも、特にその武道の中でも言われますよね。People wanted to do like a boxing or something more realistic, and sure, some people do boxing for the exercise and the practice, but if we do something beyond like imagination, like kenjutsu, like what's the point of doing it? But it's for me is again I said about the being centered and also feeling the death, especially the using the sword is very, very important for me to feel. Also you learn the tradition, you learn culture, a lot of things contains, and you feel especially I did a battojutsu. Battojutsu is kind of like using real sword and then the practice. That's really important to me, and then be in the same place, and then be again, this is kind of like a sanctuary too. You feel safe to be with someone connected, practice something in a very tense place for 1 or 2 hours in the same place. And that is it's actually really relaxing as well. You feel something very serious, but you are out of the ordinary life, and you feel so connected to yourself. And then when you can bring back this to the normal everyday life. 剣術の道場ですね。今回、3、4ヶ月ですけど、バット術を勉強して、バット術はちょっと、居合刀に似たような、こう、本物の刀を使って、プラクティスなんですけど、その中で、やっぱりこう死を感じたり、その安全な場所で死を感じたり、聖域っていうふうに、言えると思うんですけど、みんながこう、シリアスの中でやってるんだけど、こう、コネクションをみんなと感じてやるんですよね。だから、そこに行くことで、そのシビアなことをやるんだけれど、そこの場所に行って、全く全然違う、普段の生活と違う場所に行くことによって、こうリセットされるというか、自分のこうセンターにまた戻れるというか、なんかそういうものがあることで、普段の生活にも活かせるだなと思いました。だからそういうものって本当僕にとって不可欠なこと。テニスとかになったらエクササイズっていうことにあるけれど、Well, if you say tennis, it's kind of like exercise. even more. But it's interesting that some people question about it. That means society think that it's not acceptable if it's nothing to do with making money or being a status, unless it's completely for hobby. 趣味と言えるものでなくて何か真剣にやってることに対して社会の中ではちょっとこう疑問に感じてしまう人が多いんじゃないかなと。疑問を感じるということは社会ではこう、受けられない行動をしているとも言えるんじゃないかなと。I won't really feel that just practice is the motivation for living, nothing else. I really feel that what I'm doing is just a practice. I usually say that. What do you do? People say, and then I say, I don't really want to say I'm an artist. I just practice for just the sake of being myself. And it would be wonderful that even education, even a school, anything is simply doing a practice. I don't want to do anything else. I just wanted to practice myself. But the world is not systemized, constructed like these people who just practice and then giving money. 社会の中では、その本当は、僕はただプラクティスやってますって言うんですね。何をしている人ですかって言ってアーティストとはあんまり言いたくなくて、ただ僕はプラクティスをするだけ、毎日プラクティスをしている。その自分が自分のセンター、自分のコアに、核に触れるようで、あることが自分にとっての幸せだし、こう、他の人にもサポートできるものだと思っているので、単純にただプラクティスをしている。それぞれの行動はすべてプラクティスに、としてやっていると言いたいんですね。だから、教育の中でも、社会の中でも、みんながそういう状態であると、よりいいかなと思うんですよね。はい。Do you do shadow, Larissa? I started to use it.
Yes, I do, and I love it.
Shadow in Japanese or Chinese?
Japanese. I would like to do it once a week, so perhaps in the Slack I will try to ask for support, because then I never find time to do the things that I love, because for the reason you said, to earn a salary, we need to do the things that will make us have a salary. Unfortunately. Yeah. So,
書道をやっているそうですね。で、日本の書道、1週間に1回できたらと。で、ちょっと今時間がない。給料をもらうための仕事があるので、ちょっと時間がないということです。Do you need a teacher, Larissa?
I had one. Now mainly I do by myself. But
Are you in India?
Sorry?
You're in India?
No, what did I say?
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in London.
Okay, I thought in India.
Oh no, I said something wrong, obviously.
Okay.
I'm in London.
Okay.
I took lesson online.
Okay.
Sometimes. Yeah.
今ロンドンにいてレッスンを受けてると。But you have teacher then online.
At the moment, I don't have anyone because I lost my job, and then I'm not confident to make any commitment to when I have to pay. I don't know what is going to happen.
I see.
Yeah.
But you can practice by yourself.
But I'm available to exchange Italian lessons with Shodo, for example.
That's good. Oh yeah, here the Yuka-san is a calligrapher, and she's like to do that. She lives in London.
Oh, lovely.
My assistant. Yuka さんが書道家なので、ラリッサとエクスチェンジできるかなと思います。Yeah, I like learning Italian, but I just kind of, I stopped. Yeah, now I want to study German, but not doing anything at the moment.
Did she say she speaks Spanish too?
Yeah, because she's Spanish. She's teaching Spanish.
That's interesting.
あら、ラリッサさん、スペイン語も喋れますかって。Can you speak Spanish, right? You teach Spanish.
Yes, I do. I teach Spanish and French. I know better Spanish, but I can teach also beginner, intermediate French.
ああ、ビギナーから中級までフランス語を教えてます。スペイン語も教えてます。Amazing that you have, I mean, Latin language is closer, but I never seen people like three, because Italian, Spanish similar, but French is a bit different. ちょっとフランス語は違うから、あんまり見ないですけどね。イタリア語、スペイン語に似てるけど、フランス語も喋れる人はあんまり見かけないですね。
Actually, do you know, the amazing thing is what you do, because Japanese language is so different. So when you study English or another European language, to me, from my point of view, you do something amazing.
ラリサさんが言うには、日本語の方がもっと英語から違うので、もっとすごいなと思うと言ってます。Yeah, well, yes, I guess. But, yeah. Probably. But, we're not that good at English, though. I find it very comfortable speaking. I mean, I'm not good at, I'm basic Italian, but I feel very comfortable speaking Italian than English. I mean, to learn, I feel quite, how can I say? It flows. There's not so much of wall, I feel. Like, yeah. 僕はイタリア語を勉強した方が、まあイタリア語全然喋れないですけど、なんかもっとこう、自然にこう入ってくる感じが英語よりもしますね。Yeah, go on.
We have the pronunciation, we have the same vowels, for example. We only have a different order to tell them, because you say A, I, U, E, O, and we say A, E, I, U, O. No, U is at the end. Sorry, because I tried to learn Japanese, so I forgot the order in Italian.
It's not I, O, U. It's not A, O.
Okay, we have A, E, I, O.
Yeah, that's normal, right? Yeah. Even English, they say the same.
But the pronunciation then in English is different.
Sure.
And so the pronunciation is very easy for Italian speakers. When you start pronouncing Japanese, it's easier than the English class.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. まあ日本語を勉強するときはイタリア人にとって英語を勉強するよりも発音の部分では楽だということですね。Yeah, so how's Japanese? 日本語どうですか？
My Japanese is, I can say, はじめまして、私はラリッサです。Then I can say, トイレはどこですか？
Where's the toilet?
Or, 駅 is Eki station.
Yes.
駅はどこですか？ When I can say mainly the sentences that I'm learning on NHS Japan. NHK Japan.
Yeah, that's BBC, yeah.
Yeah, something from there.
That's amazing.
It takes time. The thing is, I really love, you have these hiragana. To me, they are so beautiful. I love them even more than kanji. Hiragana is something that you created. They have this round shape.
Oh, that's interesting to hear.
I love them.
ひらがなの方が美しいと思うみたいですね、漢字よりも。
Then everything I watch in Japanese, but with the English subtitles. So it doesn't really help me to remember all of them.
日本語のものを見るときは英語の字幕で見てるのであんまり勉強にならない。Well, maybe you should switch off the English subtitle, then just concentrate.
In fact, or even, I try sometimes, especially with I watched all the Miyazaki movies. So especially as I watch them more than once, with them, I try sometimes not to put the subtitles or the Japanese, so I can...
That's good. まあ、時々字幕を見ないで、消してみたりします。宮崎アニメとかも時々、字幕なしで見てます。That's interesting. But if you can speak 3 languages or more languages, 他にも喋れますか？ 3 カ国語以外。4カ国語か。 Can you speak German, Scandinavians?
No, I learned German 2 years, but many years ago, so I forgot almost everything.
2年間ドイツ語勉強しましたけど、ほとんど忘れちゃいました。
But now my goal is to learn Japanese. Slowly. As I'm working a lot. Yeah.
I mean, you want to learn Japanese too. Plus
I do. I started in 2014.
2014年から日本語を勉強し始めました。
But I didn't know that coming here, I couldn't teach Italian straight away. So I had to change plan. That's why I'm doing this on a different speed, let's say.
I see. 皆さん他に何か anyone who won?
はい。どうやって社会を変えていきましょうかね。
おでかいですね。How can we change the society? We have to do the movement, like social movement, somehow. There's one person who joined the Pure Mind session that we're thinking of doing. Yeah, you may have to find someone who is influencer to make a movement. We got to make a movement, otherwise the people won't stand. I think. How did it, how the movement started, and we could research that. どうやってこうムーブメント、社会ムーブメントですね。社会運動がやっぱり世界を変えると、社会を変えると思うので、どういうふうにそういうことが起きたのかとか、やっぱりインフルエンサーみたいな人が見つけて、で大きなみんなを立ち上がせるようなことをしない限り、なかなか動きにくいんじゃないかなと僕は思いますね。That we can discuss about that on Slack or Roots of Being. まあ、Roots of Being か、Slack の方で、そういうことを語れたらなと思います。But Roots of Being, the core kind of idea is to be yourself. By yourself, so you cultivate. You try to focus yourself to do practice as well, to be yourself, no distraction, all the pure yourself. To do that, just to simply do that, will influence others, and then that's our belief. And to do that, and then also promote that idea, can be the quickest way to change. But of course, we could have a project about education or talking about practice, talking about pure mind, how we accept the differences and stuff. So, yeah, another thing is if you have some sort of event like this or event like anything, that you could say that, okay, this is part of Roots of Being, and then promote the ideas. Any kind of idea, Rarisa?
I think your idea is great. Roots of Being, when you accept yourself for what you are, you became more open in your mind, and you are able to accept also other people. I go back to the education because I can see. Can you see? Even the children in school, they look each other. And they laugh to each other, but at one point they start laughing in a less kind way. So that is the moment we need to intervene, do something to let them accept each other. We are all different.
今ラリサさんが言ったのは、僕は言ったの訳さなかったですけど、同じことで自分をアクセプトすること、自分を、受け入れるということが大きな変化につながると思います。子供たちを見ても笑って楽しんでるように見えるんだけれど、やっぱり他の人の目を意識したりとかして本当の意味の自分っていうものを受け入れられないっていうところがすごく問題かなと。 I think even if we look around, anyone, even friends, family, the problems are everywhere, actually. They're not actually accepting, also people are not accepting others. I mean, even you look around the news and everything, it's always kind of conflicts everywhere. That's just because they cannot accept others. And that's the fundamental issues. そのニュースを見たりしても、問題はどこにでもあるし、大人を見ても、自分の周りの友達、自分の親を見ても、やっぱこう、アクセプトできない、自分を受け入れない人たちが多いために、問題が起きている、争いが起こっていると思います。